Growing up, my family has always had drama. Everyone's always fighting with everyone. But when my grandmother was alive, there was always more drama than there is now. And that's because she liked to start problems for the sake of starting problems.
So I know you were talking about at one point she kicked your dog across the room.
That's a bit of an exaggeration, but you're not far off. So one day when I was maybe 16, 17, I was hanging out in the living room with my friend and my dog Rascal. He's a Cairn Terrier, aka the Toto dog, if you don't know that breed.
Beautiful little guy.
He was sleeping on the floor. And for the past week, our family had been tame. No one was fighting with anybody. And if there was any arguments, there just hadn't been in the past week.
So a little too relaxed, a little too chill.
Yes. And that happened often because people move on, they forgive and move on. But my grandma didn't like it when that happened. So she would purposefully start problems. So I'm in the living room with a friend and my grandma lives with us. And she had the door closed and I hear the door open. And she runs out of the room and she immediately starts kicking my dog. Now, when I say kick, she's not punting him across the room. She's kicking him as if I was to kick you under the table just to get a rise out of you. So obviously this bothered me and she's looking right at me when she's doing it. Obviously this upsets me. So I run over to her and I say, stop. And she keeps kicking my dog. And I say, stop, Grandma, stop.
What a wench.
Obviously, my dog is like, what the hell are you doing? So he walks away and my grandma immediately starts hitting me. Now, again, she's not punching me across the face.
Okay. So a little more like
yeah, she's not curb stomping me. She's,
okay.
It's like, you know, like when a little kid wants to get a rise out of you and is like punching you.
Yeah. Like to annoy you to no end to where you end up like giving them a black eye and going to prison on accident.
Yeah, I think I would rather get into an actual fight though, because when people punch you or hit you to get a rise out of you, I feel like it's worse. So I am just fuming at this point, which was obviously her goal. And I'm telling her to stop. Like, get away from me. Stop. Knock it off. Why are you doing this? And she starts telling me something. We start arguing. To tell you the truth, I don't know what it was about because it didn't matter. But she obviously said some things to bother me. So I was telling her things like, go back to your room. You're crazy. I don't want to talk to you. And my poor friend is sitting on the couch watching all of this. And she's sitting there quietly, her eyes darting back and forth between my grandmother and I and just watching us. Eventually, my grandma stops. And the crazy thing about this is when she walks back to her room, she has a smirk on her face like the deed was done. And she walks back to her room and closes the door.
Okay, fair enough. A little creepy.
You would think it's done, but it's not. I knew exactly what she was about to do. She was about to call all of our family members to tell people that we were just in a physical fight and how abusive I was being. So I knew she was about to do this, so I immediately pick up the phone and call my mom and I tell her what had just happened.
A little damage control.
Yeah. Naturally, you know, my grandma kind of had a head start. So I think my mom heard from other people that I had fought. I don't really remember. All I know is that I was the first one to tell my mom. So when my grandma called my grandma got mad when she found out that my mom already knew what had happened. And
she wanted to tell her. She wanted to be the one to drop the beans.
Yes, and my mom sided with me, of course. I mean, I had a friend there to tell her everything that had just happened. We all knew how my grandmother was, at least the people that were very close to her. If you weren't very close with her, you wouldn't know how manipulative she was. She would just start problems for the sake of starting problems. So that is the story of how she started kicking my dog and then attacking me. And that was it. The deed was done.
She was crazy.
Well, the point was to start a problem. With people like that, don't give them the attention. Don't give them the satisfaction. Don't give them that food that they're craving. Simply put them on a diet. Ignore them. Don't react. It's going to be best for the relationship and it's best for you because you can have peace of mind.